Oh, dude, wait a
So
sec. Cheers.
okay,
Sorry.
cheers.
We already cheers before.
We're already cheersing. All right. So I personally hate my voice. Like when I
Dude, me
listen
too.
to I think that's a pretty natural
Yeah.
response, right? And so when I listen to, because like,
Yeah.
I help out with the editing for this show, and so I'm listening to our conversations and trying to find like
Mhm.
places to cut so we can listen in. And when I hear my voice, like it sounds really whiny, and I really notice when we're both talking that I have like a very strong West Coast accent, which is kind of weird for me to
Well,
say.
what kind of an accent do I have?
You definitely don't have a West Coast accent.
What?
It-
How do you? Okay. Okay. How do you define it? Because like standard American English now is West Coast.
Sure, to an extent.
Tell me how our accent is different, kind sir.
Let me explain. I would say your accent, as far as English goes, is more in line with like standard American English.
Yeah.
Whereas like kind of, I wouldn't say East Coast, but it's like Midwest
Okay.
sounding.
Okay.
And when I listen to your voice, and then when I hear my voice, and I'm gonna exaggerate this because this is
Yeah.
in my mind, this is
Yeah.
what it
I want
sounds
to
like.
hear it.
But it's like I feel like I'm talking with like a little lisp, and I'm just like, yeah, man.
Are you just saying that like West Coast American English is talking with a lisp or something? Because I can talk that way too.
I mean, it definitely it's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But it sounds like that when you start comparing it to other American accents.
Okay.
But once you get outside of America, it just all kind of blends together and sounds the same.
Yeah.
But it just I hear that ever slight I guess inflection would be the right word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so I kind of get what you mean, because actually, it was kind of amazing when I went to school at UW, UW Huskies. We're both wearing Husky
We're both
stuff.
wearing Husky shirts. My parents actually bought me this shirt.
Oh, really?
So they're gonna be thrilled seeing me wearing
That's
it.
awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, so I was a linguistics major.
Okay.
In at UW, and actually I was a Japanese major too. I was a double major, but even though I was in Japan for a year and I came back, I didn't have enough credits to finish my Japanese major. So I just cut it because they're like, oh, you need to do another year. I'm like, no way, I'm done with school.
I'm done.
Seriously, I have my own business now.
Yeah.
But so, but yeah, so when I first got there, I didn't really think I had an accent of anything of any kind, because I remember I took a sociolinguistics class and my teacher, we were talking about how the different accents kind of show your identity.
Yeah.
And she said, is anyone from the Boston area? I said, me. She's like, great. Where are you from? I'm like, well, I'm not really from Boston. I'm from a town called Marblehead. And she's like, oh, that's the language isolate in that area. Yeah, that's the one place where no one sounds like they're from Boston. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I didn't know you guys knew about this town. But so I thought I didn't have it. But then when I came to Seattle, people started making fun of the way I pronounced my O's, because I think back then I pronounced them like deeper, like
aw.
Yeah, or like I would say I don't know or something like that. Because actually where I'm from, people sound almost Canadian a little bit. So the O's,
so you got the Scotty accent.
Oh,
right?
hey there.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, so it's not as much as that, but like I remember when I would say I don't know, and people would be like, "Oh, I don't know," and I'm like, "Why are you making fun of me?"
Mm-hmm.
But it was just something I never realized.
Yeah,
That's
funny.
Yeah, but I think you and I talk the same though.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay.
Maybe you gotta. Maybe it's just because I hear your voice every single day. Because I'm watching your videos now.
Have you fallen in love with me yet? That's the question.
Wow.
So, anyways, so before we were talking about how winter in Japan makes you want to leave every year.
Yeah. So, I love this country, but yeah, I've been really, especially, I don't know why, but I particularly noticed it this year, and it didn't feel like this year was any different from any other year.
It felt colder to me too.
It did feel colder, yeah, but I don't think it was.
It's the bone chillingness of COVID. That's what it is.
Maybe it is. But yeah, so I have been extremely frustrated with the weather conditions here during the winter, and it just drives me insane because especially Tokyo, but I think Japan as a whole, it's not a cold place.
Yeah.
It's really not. Like if you're a person from a cold place, like I'm talking like China, Korea, or back in the US, like kind of like northeast states or like Canada or something.
Or like Boston.
That's cold.
Yeah.
It is like severely below freezing. You will probably die if you're not wearing proper weather clothes and you're out all day. You know what I mean? Like that's a cold place.
I remember the week before I moved to Tokyo, it was minus 40.
Yeah.
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 In Boston. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of stupid for me to complain about that, because it's like you go out and I mean today's a little bit warm, but like you go out in a normal day in winter in Tokyo and it's like, I don't know, maybe 11 degrees Celsius, which is like mid 40s.
Yeah.
In Fahrenheit. It's not cold, but there's no humidity in the winter.
Yeah.
And that coldness just like seeps into your skin and you start like mummifying.
I get that.
And it drives me insane, man. And I have a humidifier next to my bed.
Yeah.
Like you just have to.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll still wake up with like bloody noses and
really
like headaches and stuff.
Wow.
And it's just because the insulation here is terrible. So it's like all the humidity that's being pumped in the air is immediately getting sucked out by windows.
Yeah, like that's something that I wish someone would have told me before I moved here, was that there's no real insulation
at all
at houses in houses here.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because you think like you would prepare, because I know like in Boston, right, things don't get super cold because, well, there's tons of insulation.
Yeah.
You have heating to like keep it warm and stuff.
Yeah.
And they have double pane windows and stuff. But dude, the wind, like you basically get the same temperature inside as you do outside.
I mean,
here.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Like I have my heater fully cranked up, running 24/7 in my apartment. And I still have to wear blankets.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it's like that one area around the heater, and then otherwise,
Yeah, the one area is like, if I go near my heater, like in my kitchen, my apartment, it's like, oh my God, I gotta like start taking off clothes because it starts getting too hot. But as soon as I go into like my bedroom or my computer room, it's like, all right, cool, I guess I just bring a blanket with me now.
Yeah. It's just, no, but I get that. I mean, so for the dryness and stuff, I guess because I'm used to like frozen winters and the dryness, so I don't really mind it so much.
Yeah.
But like I was saying before, you know, maybe winter's bad for you, but for me, I can't stand summer.
Okay.
I just want to leave Japan every year. And actually, I do leave Japan every year during the summer.
Yeah.
Because like, so I was telling you before, but like I remember the first day I got to Japan for Ryugaku, for my study abroad. It was August, and I'm actually still really trying to remember this time. I've had a little bit of this. So it was August 22nd, 2013.
Sure.
And I remember it was 10 o'clock at night when I finally got to in front of my friend's apartment, and I felt like I could drink the air because it was so humid. I'm like, why is this happening? Am I going to suffocate? And that's when I realized, oh, maybe I came to Japan at the wrong time.
You really did, man. I think mid-August, like mid to late August, is the height of like summer humidity here in Japan. Yeah, it oh God.
Dude, no.
It's terrible.
I know, like, so I love living here.
Yeah.
But every summer, I can't stand it. So when there wasn't like COVID happening and stuff, I would go for July to the beginning of August, maybe. I would be in the States.
Yeah.
And then for August, we would be in Niigata. So we would stay out of it during the hottest part. But dude, I don't know, man. I remember, so when I've noticed like my body changing, becoming acclimated to the weather here, because when I first got here, I never thought it was cold ever. And now I'm starting to feel like it's getting cold.
Yeah. I'm the exact same way.
But another thing too, that was really tough this was back in like 2017, 2018. When it was over 28 degrees at night, which is pretty much every night in the summer.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep. I'd start sweating. So I'd have to put the air conditioning on.
Yeah.
But now I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I can sleep now.
You just deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, I have heard that getting oh my God, I've drank too much.
Getting acclimated?
Acclimatized is the word I was looking for.
Okay. Not acclimated?
Acclimated, no.
Okay.
We're going acclimatized.
Acclimatized, okay.
I'm sticking with that word.
Okay, I'll
defend
it.
it.
Go for it.
So that's just throwing me off. Oh, we drank too much before the show.
I'm sorry,
All right.
man. I'm just enjoying this a lot right now.
So I've heard, moving the conversation forward, I've heard that a lot of that has to do with eating local foods.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
So by eating local foods, and I don't know if this is true. I guess it's just hearsay. But I've heard that like eating like local God, man, I can't even talk now. Eating local cuisine. Stop picking big words. I need to stick to the 4 or 5 letter words.
Cuisine is the French words. You're just speaking French. It's okay.
Eating local foods, I have heard, helps with getting used to
acclimatizing
extreme weather. So in this situation, like eating a lot of like local spices and stuff, because I think it's specific to spices because they grow at different in different climates.
Yeah.
So if you're consuming like one spice that's like known for being in hot climates, it'll help your body like regulate water better, I guess.
Dude, I should look into that because then what you're saying then, if I were to eat like McDonald's and Burger King every day here, that I would be hot all the time. Well, I'd probably be dead soon, but
yeah, probably. Well, it has more to do with like well, first of all, McDonald's and Burger King doesn't have any nutrients in it. It's just like basically paste.
But what about their salads? No, we don't have to get on that.
But yeah. So it's like the concept of like really spicy stuff.
Yeah.
Is so prevalent in hot climates.
Okay.
But it actually helps people deal with hot weather.
Okay.
Also, because their body's able to like regulate water better.
Well, I do eat pretty local food here all the time. I mean, I like to cook, and my wife is a wonderful cook, so it's great. I mean, one of my favorite foods is nabe. So who knows?
Sure.
Maybe that could be part of that.
It's funny you brought up nabe because I had some incredible nabe for Valentine's Day this year.
Oh, really? Tell me about it.
I mean, there's not much to say other than that.
No.
Just had good nabe.
No. I know you got good nabe, but who prepared it? Where did you eat it? What was it like? What made it so good?
Well,
first of all, what is nabe?
So nabe is like, it's not really soup. It's like what's the word I'm looking for? So you basically prepare a large bowl with broth and you just throw stuff into it.
It's a big broth bowl with a lot of vegetables. And
meat. And you can throw meat into it. You can throw vegetables into it. You do whatever you want. There's there's a word for that, but I'm forgetting what it is.
Hot pot.
Hot pot. There we go. Yeah. That's the one. So yeah, it's a hot pot, and it's amazing. It's like regarded as like really traditional Japanese food, but I don't even know if it's from Japan because China has the exact same thing.
I would think that hot pot is like one of those things,
just like everyone comes up
with it. Like every culture has its form of hot pot, just like every culture has its form. Every dough making culture, bread making culture had its form of pizza.
Sure,
before pizza came along, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just going to be going on tangents all night.
Go for it.
I had Korean food last night. And Have you ever had chijimi?
Korean pizza. Chijimi is the Korean.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So I would actually call those. So I thought chijimi is like Korean pancake. It's like okonomiyaki.
Kinda, but it's got a lot of cheese on it though.
Well, if you have cheese on the chijimi, then yeah. But that's Korean food's awesome. My two favorite foods: Japanese and Korean food.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. But anyways, going back to the nabe thing. Yeah. So Valentine's Day. Yeah. I have a girlfriend now. So,
congratulations.
Yeah, that's why I've gotten fatter. God, man, dude, that's the most annoying thing is, like once you start dating someone, like I was hyper motivated in August, hyper motivated September, November rolled around. I was like, hey, you know what? I think I'm ready to jump back into the dating scene.
Yeah.
Well, I got to get in shape because I'm meeting all these girls. Hyper motivated in November. Met my current girlfriend now.
Who seems like a wonderful person.
She's fantastic, man. I can't wait. We've made plans to go and have some pizza. And I'm super
have pizza. We're gonna make pizza, man. Okay. We're gonna make pizza together. That'll be great.
I'm really excited about that because your pizza's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I meet her, and it's like you get that initial dating scene where it's like, well, I still gotta like keep my appearance up.
Yeah.
Right? This is only the first date, second date, and third date starts rolling around, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Fourth date starts rolling around. All right, we decide to make something official, and now it's like,
yeah, you
know
just
what I mean? You can let the gut out.
It's easy. Yeah. I mean, that's when you have to have personal standards by yourself. But I get it too, because like, so when 2 years ago when Natsumi was pregnant, she went up to Niigata, and I had to stay here for work, and also there was COVID stuff, so her parents didn't want me to visit them very much, whatever. It was really complicated. But basically, I was by myself for 5 months. Yeah, pretty much. And in those 5 months, I lost 15 pounds, and I was exercising. I was doing great. Like it was like a few months after she came back that I first met you. Yeah. But yeah, I was like getting cut. I mean, I wasn't like super cut, but I lost a lot of weight. And I had a lot of energy and stuff. And now I have this wonderful woman in my life, and just yeah, it just happens, man. Well, so I remember one time. So I met when I first got married with Natsumi. Yeah. I was just starting my business, and we had no money, so we were really, really strict with what we did. And we just didn't. I didn't eat very much, so I got skinny. But at that time, I had a lot of students at the time, but there was this one student that I just met like a couple years ago. So this is years after I first met them. And I had realized that I had gained a lot of weight since then. And she was like, "Oh, Asa, shiawase butori da ne." Arthur, that's a happy fat, isn't it? I'm like, yes, it is.
Oh man. I will tell you, we've had this conversation. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. We've had this conversation before. I think you've mentioned how like in a lot of your videos, like people kind of have this image of you. Yeah. And then you meet them in real life and they're like, whoa.
Yeah. Huh. First thing they all think is like, wow, Arthur, you're fatter than I thought. That's the first thing that happens.
I have the same thing to a lesser extent, specifically to do with my my host family here in Japan. Like I'll send them pictures of myself. Oh. And
I saw pictures of you when you were like 18 or 19. And you're like a completely different person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just to tell you, for everyone who thinks like there's stuff in the internet about how living in Japan will make you skinny. Yeah. And when I lived here by myself, I lost a lot of weight.
You definitely can.
Yeah. Yeah. But it still is a choice.
Yes. I would say it's no easier to lose weight in Japan than any other like civilized, like kind of like first world country. Yeah. Like you have the option to eat healthy food, but at the same time, it's it's so easy to live out of a konbini. Yeah. Or you know what? It's funny. This allows me to transition to my other topic. So I went to the Cup Noodle Museum on a field trip. Have you ever been
Yokohama?
There? Yeah.
I've wanted to go. I've never been.
There's not a lot to it, but it's fun. It's fun. You get to like learn the history of like instant ramen. Yeah. And everything. And so after that, I don't know why, but I just got this like craving for instant ramen.
Yeah, and dude, of course.
I'm not an instant ramen guy. Like before just like a couple months ago, like it's been years since I've had instant ramen. And after going there, like this is a little bit embarrassing to say because I try to eat healthy, but like man, that chicken ramen.
Chicken ramen.
It's
the
like
instant.
It's the instant chicken ramen. It's this dirt cheap ramen, and it's got like chicken flavoring, like just salted onto it. Oh my god, it's so good. I love that stuff.
That's actually so talking about that makes me think about because when you said chicken ramen, because I haven't seen chicken ramen here. I've seen chicken ramen in the States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then again, I don't really eat instant ramen very much. But one thing though that was interesting when I first came here was
you're just waiting for me to pour you a new one,
dude. Well, let's be Japanese here. We pour for each other.
It's true.
That's what they do here.
It's true.
So, dude, no.
We just had this conversation.
Yeah, we just had this conversation, man. Come on. When in Rome, do as the Japanese do, right?
Yep.
Great. So, my image of ramen when I lived in the States was, you go to a supermarket and you'd get these huge plastic packs that had multiple smaller plastic packs in them. That was just my computer. They have multiple like smaller plastic packs, and it was like a little bag that you'd rip open and you would just put the salt on or whatever.
It was the top ramen. Right.
Yeah, top ramen. But in Japan, a lot of the ramen that you can get is actually cup noodle, where it's like a styrofoam cup, and they actually have actual like toppings that are dried on it. And so when you pour the hot water, it actually like hydrates it.
So that's one of the cool things that you can do if you go to the Cup Noodle Museum in Yokohama. Is they have like an area where you can make your own cup noodle.
Oh, really?
So so you go there and you get your styrofoam cup, and they put in the ramen or the noodles.
Yeah.
And then you can take as many flavors as you want, but they have like different like dried meats that you can put on. So I got like habanero peppers, curry, like powdered curry sauce. I got sausage put in mine.
Wow.
But you can get like shrimp, fish, like anything.
And do you put it in yourself, or do you have someone put it in for you?
So they have people behind like this glass thing, and you got to put your cup noodle thing in, and you give it to them, and it goes through this like conveyor belt machine, and then it gets to the point where you can put in like the different toppings, and then there'll be a person that's like putting and you just tell them what you want.
Dude.
But it's that part's whatever, right? The really cool thing is after you get everything in, the plastic sealing process is really interesting. So I didn't know this is how it's done, but they put it in like this thin plastic bag. Right?
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
And so it goes in this thin plastic bag, and it gets put in this heater, and the heater shrinks the plastic down, and that's how it gets vacuum sealed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's like a plastic bag that they heat up and that shrinks.
Yeah. I had no idea that's how that worked.
Okay.
I just assumed that it's like getting stretched over or that kind of thing.
I didn't know that. That's that's what shrink wrap.
That's what the shrink wrap is. Okay. Yeah. So it's actually like this. It looks like just a normal clear plastic. Like if you made a bag out of shrink wrap, like just any shrink wrap, if you made a bag out of that, and then it's like it basically goes up to this large hair dryer and just like.
Dude, I need to see that. You made me want to go to the ramen museum.
It's like there's not a lot to it.
Yeah.
It's like it would be a fun afternoon, but it's really interesting. Like I never really cared about instant ramen until I went there, and I'm like, oh, okay, this place is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny. Like because I've seen that before, and when I've gone to Yokohama, the Minato Mirai area where it is, I see people walking around with these bags with these like things of cup noodles in them, right?
Yeah.
And I've always been like, oh, I've wanted to go, but I just never made it around.
Yeah. I think honestly it would be like a fun little family trip for an afternoon or something. I mean, because you're not too far from Yokohama from here, right?
Yeah. Well, so like
30 minutes or so.
I live in possibly the most convenient place in Japan. That's just how I see it, because I'm close to Yokohama. I'm pretty much one transfer away from anywhere in the country.
Sure.
Almost.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. So I can get to Yokohama in like 15 minutes. I can get to Minato Mirai in like 20 minutes or whatever. Yeah.
And you're basically, I mean, I assume this counts as Kawasaki, right?
Yeah, we're in Kawasaki City right now.
Yeah. So I mean, Kawasaki is a really great place. It's like when I imagine Kawasaki, I just think of like cheap Tokyo.
Okay.
Is that what you think of too, or I'm not trying to say you live in a cheap area, but
no, it's fine because I prefer saying that, because if I tell people where I really live, they're like, oh, you must be super rich, Arthur. It's like, no, I'm not super rich. I live on the outskirts.
Yeah,
but yeah. So I actually, like I said, dude, your life and my life in Japan is so different, which is why I think this is interesting, because I'm self-employed. I just work. I don't really travel much. I just kind of focus on my own stuff. So like you're talking about what image do I have of Kawasaki? I don't really have one, because I've been there 3 times.
You're kidding me.
No, I mean, so one time I went there because there was this amazing arcade that was getting closed down. I went there with our buddy Andy a few years ago, and then I've been there twice since, but it's like I only go there for shopping. But what?
Do you ever go to Lazona?
Yeah, I went there once, like the shopping area, right?
Oh man. Let me tell you how great Lazona is. Actually, it doesn't really matter, but the thing that makes Lazona so...
For you.
Oh, Thank you. The thing that makes Lazona so great. So just
What is Lazona? first of all?
yeah. God, man, I don't know what it is. Okay, let me clear my throat.
Yeah. But
So-
just for the reference, I thought it was Razona, but it's Lazona.
It's Lazona.
Okay.
Razona is like the Romaji version, but it's
Yeah.
Lazona.
So the zone. It's
Yeah.
the zone. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Lazona is modeled after a Southern Californian shopping mall.
Is that why? That's why it looks the way it does.
Yes.
Okay. Because
It
I was
is-
like, this is a lot like America.
Yes. So if you're familiar with Socal,
Mhm.
and you know shopping malls in like Orange County area,
Yeah.
it is like the spinning image of a California shopping mall,
Okay.
because they have this like kind of like horseshoe shape,
Mhm.
right? Where
Yeah.
it's like this big outdoor area in the center, and then there'll be like all these shops on the side, and like like 2 or 3 floors. Like every shopping mall in SoCal is modeled like that.
Okay.
And it's really cool because so I feel right at home because
Yeah.
I'm familiar with a lot of these places. Like they have a California pizza kitchen,
Yeah. Yeah.
which do you know CPK?
Yeah. 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 I mean,
Okay.
they have CPK in Boston.
Oh,
too,
do they?
So, yeah. Yeah.
They don't have any up in Seattle. It's really weird. I don't know.
it's-
It just hasn't connected
Seattle's
up there.
just a weird place.
Yeah, it is. But anyways, so I'm really excited because I get to see a lot of these places.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't really see anywhere in Japan. It's kind of this little contained experience. But none of that matters. Let me tell you, in the food court, they have Panda Express.
Yeah, they do.
And for that alone, like, let me tell you about Panda Express. It is shitty Chinese food.
Yeah.
It's not even really Chinese food. It's like American.
It's the McDonald's of Chinese food.
Yes, it is the McDonald's of Chinese food. It's really low quality food, but it is so near and dear to my heart because it's just like the flavor of it. Like I used to eat Panda Express all the time when I was in America,
Okay.
and it makes me like feel so nostalgic when I eat it.
That's probably why, dude.
Oh God! I mean, that and being literally just soaked in MSG probably
Yeah.
helps too.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that though, because like I lived in Germany until I was 8, and
Yeah.
I lived in Boston, and Boston doesn't have too many Panda Expresses actually. I think it's more of a West Coast thing.
I think so too.
But yeah, whenever I saw Panda Express, my first inclination was to avoid it. So I'm just like, I don't share any of this like this nostalgia with you. Like they have Panda Express. I'm like, great. That's like saying they have a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
There, you know.
I felt the same way when I discovered the Taco Bell in Shibuya. That's kind of like hidden away.
Yeah, I was excited for that one.
Yeah, it's really expensive though. It
Yeah.
sucks, but you can get beer there, so
It
kind of balances.
Okay, so Taco Bell, right? I was really excited when Taco Bell came to Japan, which was what, like 3-4 years ago?
Something like that.
Yeah, like 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
And I was ready because I thought, oh, McDonald's in Japan is better than in the States.
Yeah.
So Taco Bell's going to be better, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out that Taco Bell is more expensive with less meat and more vegetables. Now, the vegetables do taste better,
Yeah.
but that's what
No,
it is.
you're 100% true. I just think it's funny.
Yeah. I mean, and you can get alcohol, which is nice, but like, and it also is a
Yeah.
lot cooler of an atmosphere. Like the one,
It's really
Yeah.
funny. Have you ever seen the movie Repo Man?
no, what is that?
Repo Man is like an older it's an older kind of sci-fi movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not gonna really get into the details of the movie. The point is, so basically you're living in this kind of like dystopian future
Yeah.
in California,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Isn't
And
California already dystopian?
well, yeah, but it's a dystopian future.
Okay.
So where the future is the important part.
Okay.
And so basically society lives in these like little contained like
Mhm.
areas that are like really, really nice, and outside it's kind of like wild.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like the upper class people who are sorry, an important detail is these guys were cryogenically frozen. They were like cops from the 90s.
Okay. So the
It's
main characters are
like
cryogenically
90s.
frozen from the 90s.
Yes.
And they're in this dystopian
Yeah,
future
so
in California
they
now.
get unfrozen to like deal with the crime there, right?
Okay.
And maybe it's Demolition Man. Repo Man. I don't know whatever the name is. Anyways, the point the name doesn't matter. The point is like they have these like upper class elite people, and the '90s cop guy gets invited to this like really expensive night out. It's like, oh, you stopped the big crime boss. Like, come eat with the mayor. We're gonna go to this high end restaurant, and they go to Taco Bell. The high-end restaurant ends up being Taco Bell. And so it's so funny because you see like these like people in like tuxedos and everything with like forks and knives, and it's like, oh yes, this is so great. I'm eating my taco. And
really?
It's like it's the dumbest thing. Dude. But I feel like that here though.
Yeah.
Because you go into it, and I mean, like to compare it to a Taco Bell in the U.S., it's like you go into a Taco Bell in the U.S., it's like you're committing yourself to diarrhea. I mean, let's just be honest here.
Dude,
it's an accepted It's an accepted sacrifice. You go and you're just like, look, I want Taco Bell. This sounds great. I'm gonna have diarrhea. That's just you. That is knowledge that you have going into that restaurant. But it's so funny how like suave and sophisticated Taco Bell looks here, and it's just like, cool hey, we're just like this
like dark walls.
This hip like jive place. We got high school students like with their laptops open and they're working on stuff. We have like businessmen that are kind of relaxing and eating tacos.
Eating Taco Bell tacos.
But you know what I mean? And it's just funny how the atmosphere is so different despite it just being junk food.
They tried really hard to make it into a hangout place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. It's like, so the colors that I remember seeing there were like dark brown or black, which is like the color of the walls, and purple. Yeah, and it's like nightclub Taco Bell. Like that's how I would say it's like it's like the lobby of a nightclub. Like it's with the bar area before you get on the dance floor. Like that's how I see Taco Bell. But yeah, I remember just going there and it was just less meat, more vegetables, more delicious vegetables, but double the price pretty much. And it's just like
it is insane, man. Like just for like a comparison, it's like I think you get like a meal with like 3 tacos. It's like, I don't know, like $2 or $3 in the US, maybe $4 if you get a drink.
Yeah.
Here in Japan, it's like $12 or $13.
Yeah, dude, it's something like getting like a full meal and stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's they're really so the thing that a lot of people probably think about when they think of Tokyo is like, you know, Tokyo is pretty cosmopolitan and has food from all over the world, but it doesn't have good Mexican food, Latin American food.
Good cheap Mexican food, I would say.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There has been some places. Dude, you still got to go to Junkadelic with me.
Dude, you have all these great places. Remember, I'm working by myself. I have money, but I don't have any time, so I need someone to go to these places with.
But I do agree with what you're saying though. I think food in general here, like I think cheese is a really good example in Japan. It's kind of difficult to find really good high quality cheese here. You can find it, but it tends to be like 2 or 3 times as expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, you know, just simple stuff like if you want to go have like a hamburger at a restaurant, it's pretty rare to find affordable hamburgers here.
Yeah. So let's just say you want to get the equivalent of a brewery burger, like one of those big burgers, right?
Yeah.
So one of those burgers would cost you like over $20 in Japan.
Yes. Yeah. Where in the US it'd be like $8 or $9 or something like that.
Yeah, on the cheaper side. But even on the more expensive side, it'd be like 15, 16 bucks, you know?
Yeah.
But it's still like, and that's not even using Japanese beef necessarily. No. That's just like in fact, meat is so expensive.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah, it can.
Although I did hear that America tends to export its higher quality cuts of beef and stuff to Korea and Japan because they have more. Like I remember watching something. I forget what it was, but I think back in like 2008 or something, or sometime in the past, America made like a trade agreement with Korea where they would be exporting a lot of American beef to Korea. Yeah. And there were protests in the street being like, we don't want your crap beef. American beef is so bad.
I mean,
you know? Yeah.
Not wrong.
No. But it kind of reminds me of how like in Colombia, right? So Colombia is known for having really good coffee, but they ship all the good coffee to other countries, and so the Colombians actually can't get good coffee.
Yeah. No, actually, that sounds really believable, to be honest, because like when I think of most food that I would get back in America, a lot of it's like ground beef.
Yeah.
Like, of course you'll eat steak in America. Like I love steak, but I don't think it's a particularly common meal that people eat these days.
Yeah.
I think like ground beef or if you're not using ground beef, you're using like barbecue.
Yeah.
And then you're using like chicken or pork probably. Yeah. I think that's more common than actually using beef.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense that, like beef producers, I don't know, beef companies would be like, hey, I mean, if there's not a lot of demand for this over here, there's a lot of demand for high quality beef here in Japan. I know that. So yeah, that just makes sense.
Dude, I got to tell you, living in Japan, so I'm talking about beef. Japan has really ruined my palate for American food.
Oh, completely.
Because so
I know how you feel.
I used to think I didn't like beef. And I remember Natsumi be like, "Hey, let's go get this beef." And I'm like, I don't really like beef. I'm sorry. And I just realized I never had good beef. Like my mom would make steak tips at home, and I remember having a steak with Natsumi when a little while after we got married in my hometown, and it was like $15-$16, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, this has no taste."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are you talking about?" But that was just kind of what I was used to. But now that I've been in Japan and I've had like real steak and I've had real beef, I can't eat the stuff in the States. And of course, like if you go to New York or you go to a really nice steakhouse, you can get good stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to pay a lot for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like, of course, like the amount that you get, it's kind of like Taco Bell. The amount is less, but it tastes better.
Yeah.
It's just more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's funny you mentioned that though, because I feel like I feel the same way, because I've never been into rare steak.
Yeah.
Like I actually offended my brother one time, because my brother's a real rich guy. He likes to go to fancy places and stuff, and he'll drag me along every once in a while. And so I remember he took me to this really, really, really high-end steak restaurant in Bellevue.
Okay.
So those
Bellevue is like the rich area.
Yeah.
Next to Seattle.
Yeah. So like Arthur said, Bellevue's like the rich Seattle. And so anyways, we go out to this really nice steak restaurant. I'm talking like this is like as expensive as steak goes. Like there is nothing on the menu below $100.
Okay.
And so my brother's ordering a steak, and I get like a New York steak. Yeah. And so my brother, I think he got rare. I'm pretty sure he just eats rare steak. But I ordered well done.
Ah, dude.
And he looked at me like with the most disgust, like, did you seriously just order well done at this? Do you know where we are?
Gordon Ramsay would be angry at you for that too,
Jesus Christ, man.
Did you know about that though at that time? Like ordering well done is just like destroying your steak?
Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna feign ignorance. I did. Okay. But I didn't like it.
Okay.
But then coming here, it's kind of just opened my eyes on it. And like, for example, last night I had Korean food.
Yeah.
And you get like do you know what you know what kalbi is? Kalbi steak.
Kalbi, yeah.
It's just like it's a type of sauce, I think.
Yeah.
They put on it.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever. So we ordered kalbi steak, and these were just like little thin uncooked pieces of steak that you just eat.
Yeah.
And it was freaking amazing. Yeah. And I love that. And I love eating, like I had raw horse meat.
Dude, basashi.
Which is really good.
Yeah, it is. If you get the good stuff, it is really good.
So it's like that kind of stuff has just like opened my eyes, like in this whole new, like it's like a completely different flavor that I've never experienced before.
It's really great that you say that, because like, I mean, I've hit on it a few times today, but like especially when it comes to eating meat and like the meat food culture in Japan. Like people really focus on less
Yeah.
but high quality. I mean, so they do have like all you can eat
Yeah.
situations, but what I think really really exemplifies it is that if you want to go out and eat some really good beef or something in the States, you're going to get a big steak somewhere. But in Japan, if you want to eat good beef, you're going to go to yakiniku, which is what? You get your own grill and you have really thin slices of this beef that you put on yourself. So you can't actually get like a huge mouthful like you would. Yeah. But it just tastes so good.
It is really good. Yeah, it's like when I think of like a traditional steak dinner in the US, it's like you get like a big steak and then a giant potato.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, damn, I love me some baked potatoes, man.
Yeah, right.
God, baked potatoes are so... You put a little sour cream in there.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's like heart attack food, but it's so good. But yeah, that's absolutely the case. Like, there's a lot of just, like, stuffing yourself. So it's definitely a quantity versus quality thing.
Yeah. Like, more is better.
Yeah. But, I mean... we say that, and it's like... The Korean place I went last night...
Yeah.
It's like I got a small platter of meat, and we had chijimi, which is like Korean pizza, and that was like 8,000 yen.
Yeah, right. It's like super expensive, right?
Yeah, which is like $80.
Yeah. Yeah, and you'd think like, why would you pay $80 for that? But then when you taste it, you know, because you're not going there to necessarily get full. I mean, you do get full because it's so rich.
Yeah,
but you're going for the experience. Like I remember. So Natsumi and I, we got married in 2016, but we had our wedding in Tokyo in 2017. Yeah. And after that, my sister and I and Natsumi, we went to a ryokan in Kyoto, like a traditional Japanese inn, right? And we had some Kyoto beef there and like as part of our kaiseki meal. Yeah. And so we told my sister that we're going to actually get Kyoto beef steak. And she's like, oh, this is going to be so great. She was expecting something really big. Yeah. But it's 4 small cubes, of this, like, not necessarily cubes. Maybe they're more like prisms or like rectangles, whatever. But they're really small. So when my sister saw them, she's like, "Oh, is this it?" I mean, it was kaiseki, so there was other stuff too. She's like, "But this is the main part. But this is all like where you spend like $30 more for these 4 small pieces." And I'm like, "Yeah." She ate it. She cried. Yeah, because it was so good.
That's, I think we're starting to run out of time here, but
dude, we have to finish this first.
Oh, we'll go. Okay. Yeah. But I do want to say that as far as like beef presentation, I love the way like I'm not familiar with Kyoto beef, but I'm sure it's Kobe beef. It's all the same thing. Yeah. But I love the way it looks because traditionally when you look at steak, there's like 2 different kinds of steak you'll see. You'll see like lean steak and you'll see fatty steak. And fatty steak's got these big blobs of fat. Yeah. Lean steak obviously has no fat on it, right? But then you'll go and have Kobe beef and there's little thin strips of fat. Yeah. All through the meat. All through the meat. And the whole process, if you look into it, there's a reason why that's the case. They, feed the cows really well. They massage them and treat them really well. But it makes the meat like it's consistent all the way through. You don't have this, all right, the fat's on the outer edge and then you just have the steak. It's like it's just all mixed in. Yeah. It's so good, man. Yeah.
It's a very consistent flavor.
It is so freaking good.
I will say though, dude, I am not a fan of that kind of like fatty beef.
Oh, really?
I actually like beef on the leaner side. So I know like it's more expensive when I see that, right? Yeah. But I just stay away from that. So like in the sushi world too, you have for like toro, which is so maguro, which is tuna. You have like maguro, which is just basic tuna, but then you have toro, which is fatty tuna, and you have regular toro, then you have chutoro, which is like fattier tuna, and then you have otoro, which is like the fattiest tuna, which is like it is, instead of it being red, it's like a pale pink because there's so much fat mixed in it. And otoro is like the most expensive version, right? Because it's like supposed to be the best. But I actually threw out a lot of money, and I tasted like regular otoro, chutoro, regular toro. Yeah. And akami, which literally means red meat, which means it has like no fat in it. Yeah. And I like the akami that had like almost no fat in it. Yeah. And so like it's great because that's the cheaper one.
Yeah.
No.
For me, it's I don't like tasting, or I don't like eating fat.
Yeah.
Like just big chunks of fat.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
I actually hate it. I'll avoid it. Like if I'm eating chicken or beef or whatever,
Okay.
and those big blobs of fat, I won't eat them. I can't stand them.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'm the exact opposite, where I really like when it's like woven in.
Okay.
Because it gives this like buttery sensation when you're eating the meat.
It's like eating butter a little bit.
Yeah. And it, God, man, I love that stuff. It's so good.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so for me, I would like to have a small piece of that.
Yeah.
Because it really is something special that I don't think you can get anywhere else in the world. But I don't want that to be like the main focus of like my. It's just too rich for me. It's like it is like eating butter. Like I don't want butter to be. I want butter to be an accent, not the main thing.
The main thing. That makes sense. Yeah. This
has been great, man. So we're finally done with this.
We powered it out. Yeah, it's kind of fun. So we decided to do a little bit more free-form discussion today, and I thought it was pretty fun. We started out with talking about like weather stuff, and like shifted from. I don't even remember what we talked about. We talked about food. That's all I remember.
we're just having fun drinking sake.
Yeah.
Just talking.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, dude. Let's finish this up. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.